These are the top 5 ranked landing spots for Apex Season 13, especially with all these crazy changes and ranked reworks and everything going on. You'll see pros if you watch them play. Some of them are still hard stuck diamond and plat lobbies. You'll notice in your games, you'll drop 3 kills off the bat, be top 10, and next thing you know, you're still negative 10 RP, and it's just, what is going on? It's so hard to solo queue, it's so hard to find where to land, it's so hard to get kills and get placement. So in no particular order, top 5 ranked landing spots, Apex Season 13. Number 5 is actually Nickmerc's ALGS spot, and a lot of these you'll see some pros use these, and I'll explain why. C-Note Cave. This spot is fantastic. There's loot everywhere. Very few people land here. If you're more of a passive team, land here. There's usually a crafter, and there's usually a beacon scan. There's pretty much anything you need in order to set up for a fantastic late game, just to get you bricked up and hardened to fight and take on every single team out there. One of the best part is there's a little hidden cavern in this area, okay? It's a very small secret. Not everybody knows it. I'm gonna tell you. You can hate me in the comments. You land here, and there's usually always 99% of the time purple and blue armors just all inside the bins. It's ready to get quick armors off the bat, especially if there's not a crafter there, which usually there is. But then you can get armor, you can get loot, and you can get attachments. You can kill the spiders as well to drop kind of smart loot for your attachments, for your guns, and what you need. It's a fantastic spot. You can loot there and loot the little villages and caverns and areas to pretty much gather everything you need. Then if you want to push teams, you can push from there to a barometer or go straight over to the mill, where there's usually a couple teams landing, which brings me to my second spot. Or fourth, there's no particular order for these. The mill. I love it if I'm in the mood to push teams, because usually teams land here. There's good loot, and there's usually a crafter nearby. If it's not there, there's one at checkpoint. If it's not there, then there's one at C-Note Cave. The mill's awesome. I'll throw some gameplay down below for you guys to watch of it. It's fantastic. You land there, you can land at the middle bins and challenge the teams, or you can each land at the separate huts, loot up. Sometimes 2 or 3 teams land here, and if you're ever going to land at the mill, you're flying in, and you see there's too many teams, you don't want to challenge it, you can branch over to the Beast, the new landing spot with the shipwrecked monster and everything, and there is good loot there. You can loot up, and then you can push the mill as well. I love it. It's a fantastic spot. Another passive spot I'm going to say is Lightning Rod. Most of you probably haven't even landed here. You haven't even been to this part of the map just because it's so far off, but when you go there once and you look at the loot, it just sets you up for the whole game. There is so much to do in that area. There's spider caves, there's prowlers to get your evos up, there's a scan beacon to find the next zone. When you land up there as well, the whole map is kind of slanted downwards. So you just have the height on everyone. So you're just slowly making your way down the map, pushing teams, taking third parties, getting the height, hitting the tractor cannons to fly to the next landing spot. It is a great spot. It's very underrated. Let me know in the comments if you have landed at Lightning Rod. Number 3, number 2, whichever one we're at, is going to be Noko's famous spot, Fish Farms. This is where he landed for ranked ALGS for whatever he's playing in any tournaments, and here's why it's even better now this season than it was when he was landing there. There's one of the AI systems where you land there, you go inside, you fight the robots, and you get the smart loot that you need. These things are really, really good, really underrated. Some people aren't using them. I was in there once. I got a purple bag, I got a bruiser, I got a turbocharger for my Havoc. I was set, I was booked, I was ready to carry the rest of the game. It's insane loot at Fish Farms. Plus, there's always those pterodactyls that are flying above you. You can go shoot them down and get whatever loot they have. Sometimes it's just a stock, but sometimes you get lucky with like a blue armor and a blue bag. It's not usually congested either. Then you can push from here to either the Gale Station, to Launchpad, or to even Antenna if you have enough time. And then you can always third party and just get towards the center zone and ready for endgame. I love Fish Farms. Noko lands there for a reason. It's actually a really, really good spot. And I'm gonna give you guys a special spot at the end. One of my personal landing spot is kind of a secret spot. I'll let you know that at the end. But my number 1 is going to be Antenna. This is where Timmy and them land. This spot's kind of in the middle, but it's not too centered to where you get bombarded with teams. Usually when the dropship flies, it flies next to Barometer and next to Checkpoint. Those are kind of the hot spots on this map. A lot of teams will land Barometer, a lot of teams will land Checkpoint. Very few land Antenna. Now sometimes there'll be 2 teams there, maybe you and one other team. You can fight them, then you can easily push Barometer. Barometer's not far for a quick third party on the rest of the people there. You usually always fight there. And if no one magically lands there, because that's what's hotspot a lot, that and Checkpoint, if you ever watch, you will see when you're playing games, look where the next hotspot is. Mill, Checkpoint, Barometer. Usually always those spots. You can push them, wipe the teams, get a quick third party, and just be set up for endgame. And then you can push the middle zone or wherever the next circle is going to be. So, my little secret spot here. I'll draw it on the map. I'll put a picture up so you can see where it lands. It's right by Cascade Falls and Stormcatcher, and kind of by Antenna. There's 4 or 5 little houses. You loot them. There's tons of bins in that general area. And if you're really aggressive, you're in aggressive play and fighting teams and getting kills right away, land here. Actually, don't land here because I will beat you if you land here. But land here because you can push Cascade Falls immediately, clean up any teams there. A lot of teams landing. It's kind of like Market. If you ever played King's Canyon, it's kind of always hot. There's always teams there. There's maybe a crafter. There's maybe a scan beacon for you to move to the next zone. But this little spot's a little secret. I love to land there. This is where my team lands for ranked a lot. There's a lot of places you can rotate. As the zip lines that take you straight to Command Center. If you want to push that, if you want to push Cascade Falls, if you need to rotate zone, you can go anywhere because you're pretty much at the center of the map with pretty fantastic loot. Sometimes it's mid, sometimes it's bad, sometimes you get third party, then they get better loot. It happens anywhere you go, but that's my favorite spot on the map as of right now to land, to kind of get in the action and get in the fights. Let me know in the comments. Are you struggling Apex Season 13? Is it kind of difficult for you to get to that next rank and everything? Drop your gamer tag in the comments. That way, because everyone watching this video is probably solo queuing, maybe duo queuing, maybe looking for a third. Drop it in the comments. Let me know where are you guys landing and do you agree with my list. Subscribe for a lot more Apex Season 13. We're trying to grow this channel.